Kamoshida has been beaten, but the gigantic red days until expulsion warning still looms over me from the upper right corner. And that thing isn't going to be going anywhere for a while. 6 days to be exact, because as per Persona tradition, you can't actually advance the plot until you run out that counter. So I got 6 days to do pretty much whatever, which is actually not that bad of a thing. I do have a lot of stuff I have yet to do. I'm still 1 in every one of my meta stats, so I could be studying, going to the library, you know, whatever, to try to get at least 1 point in something. And there's also the fact that I have the outside of LeBlanc at night opened up to me. Haven't done anything with that just yet. It's mostly been hanging out, making lockpicks and stuff like that, rather than checking out the neighborhood around me. Ryuji has been wanting to hang out with me for the past week here, and I've been blowing him off just in favor of going into the dungeon over and over, getting some of that good grind on. It's like there's a lot of stuff to do here, so getting a couple days, even if it feels kind of arbitrary, isn't a bad thing at all. Also, watching TV, which is always great. Trying to learn about sports commentary and shogi terms, which, yeah, was just a delight to try to understand. Well, I mean, you know, hey, it does get you a lot of different experience with a lot of different language here, doesn't it? And there wasn't really any point to talking to the customer. He just gives that spiel about, I love being in here at closing time that he did before. And there might be a good reason for that coming up here soon as to why I know that. Talking to Sakura, though, is always essential. I need to have his particular brand of delightful curmudgeonry in my life at all points in time. Don't get too happy. Things are going to come crashing down all around you soon enough. I mean, in about, like, what, 3 months' time when you get caught by the police? Cough, cough, just saying. Oh, yeah, and speaking of parameters, get another spiel on that again with the guy who wants to date people but is too stupid to do so. Until now. Really do want to up those parameters, and I don't need to be told that. I mean, I know that I want to up these things, and I feel like I have been upping them a lot. It's just I'm still all 1s across the board. How many times have I seen the grinning music note go into my knowledge category, and I'm still at 1? Ridiculous, but hey, you know, you just gotta keep working at it. It didn't feel like it took this long for the other games, but I don't know, maybe it did. Yeah, Charm specifically. I know especially about Charm, because I wanted to get into that floral shop job, and I couldn't. Had my application rejected. Actually, no, I didn't. Morgana wouldn't even let me apply for it, because I was so uncharming. Which, you know, is always great for the ego when that happens. Nah. So, anyway, I'm going to be doing that. A lot of things to check out, and that's going to be probably it for the next couple episodes here. Also, not only girls, but just about anybody that needs to be near you in any way prefers if you shower every day. I mean, I couldn't even imagine that. That would be just nightmarish. I can't even go a day without my hair looking like I haven't showered for a week, so couldn't even imagine something like that. Oh, you know I know it. I just did my own spiel on how much I know it. Anyway. Oh yeah, another new teacher. Tend to get a lot of them in school here, given their own voice, their own sort of identity, even as broadly sketched as they tend to be. Math teacher this time, so I'm bad at history trivia, and I'm bad at what, psychology? That was like the other thing that I don't even remember. And now we got math going on here, which was just an absolutely ridiculous question. I'm not even gonna mince words on that one. This question, the fact that they even expect you to know this in any way, made me so mad that when I got it wrong, I just reset the game and got it right. Hey, that's how I knew that the customer didn't have anything new to say. And I want some of those meta-parameter type of stuff. Parameters is what they're called in Japanese. That's why they're meta-stats, whatever. 4. Oh, yeah, that was just common knowledge for this high school student to know about 4-color theorem. I don't... Well, hey, at least I do get some knowledge about how map stuff do. But the fact that it's like everybody would have been like, boo, boos and cheers from the entire audience in the room here because I got that wrong is just ridiculous. Like anybody else would have got that right outside the teacher herself. Yeah. Based on experience since ancient times. It's difficult to prove, which is why I thought that you would have to know it immediately, right now, within seconds, of maybe seeing this for the first time in your life. And that's where save scumming comes in. I'm not going to say it was the most honorable thing to do. I'm just going to say that you got to do what you need to get ahead in life, even if it means rewinding the timeline so that you can be correct. Groundhog's Daying it until it happens. And still won. Come on. I mean, I think that answering something in class is probably worth a lot less points than, say, you know, actually spending time studying, but still. The economic losses. Great. As always, people got their priorities straight, and they're always willing to be empathetic towards the plights of others. Always. As always. Alright, well, let's finally get the first social link for Ryuji started up here. It's been way too long, and this is a prime time to get it done. Oh, wait, yeah, but first, since Kamoshida has been beaten and everything, do have a little bit of a cutscene happening. Sort of giving you an update on that. Really think he changed. I mean, he did. We do know that and everything. He did eventually confess his crimes. I mean, that actually is something I've been thinking about a little bit lately. The idea that we didn't make him a good guy by stealing away his desires as we did. I always thought of that as kind of like a psychic lobotomy because, well, it's not like Kamoshida wanted that. I guess his shadow said, hey, come and take it if you can, but I wouldn't really say that's a contract saying, please change my entire life and make me feel remorseful for all the terrible stuff I've did. But we did see right at the end there, after taking away his desires, he did feel guilt. He did feel a little bit of regret for what he did, and, you know, vowed to be a better person and everything like that. Which is interesting. I mean, he had a spark of goodness under all that evil the entire time. And why were we trying to uncover that in the first place? I mean, well, we were going to be expelled. That's the obvious selfish reason. He is a terrible person to everybody. Just doing... I've described him as a crime robot before. She's just awful. He doesn't seem to have any inner life outside of causing pain and suffering. Anne hated him and wanted revenge for what happened to Shiho. Ryuji hated him and wanted revenge for what happened with the track team. Main character presumably hated him and wanted revenge for telling the entire school about his past misdeeds. But nobody ever thought that it's like, maybe we're also doing this for Kamoshida. Maybe, like, underneath all of the delusion and excuses and justifications for the evil that he's causing, that he's also kind of suffering for what he did. We're saving Kamoshida from himself. I mean, as much as a caricature as he was, it's just like, he is still supposed to be a person in the story, in the fiction here. And it's like, we should also be thinking that it's like, we did make a person a good person. We did turn him from the path of evil onto the path of good, and it's like, you'd think that for the game being all about rehabilitation and everything like that, that you would also be thinking about the fact that you did a great deed in some way for Kamoshida himself. I mean, at least I guess that would be like the Christian way to look at it. Which is not like Persona has never dabbled in that before, Persona 3 especially. Really the whole like stealing Kamoshida's heart, you know, taking away the evil, sinful desires for material wealth and power from him, is almost like doing a penance, a confession for him. It's got that exact same sort of feeling to it. And, you know, after his sins were taken away, he was able to see the light and become a better person for it. I don't know, it's an interesting thing that then we didn't have like a prodigal son coming back home and welcomed with open arms. It's like, no, we just saved him out of hatred and revenge so that he can confess his crimes and live with the guilt and regret for the rest of his life. I guess that is also kind of a Christian concept in some circles, you know, the idea that it's like he gets consigned to the pit of fire for his sins and everything like that. But I don't know. I would like it if we also saw it as, hey, we saved this man's soul. We saved him from himself at the same time too. But you know, Kamoshida is just he's not really a real character in some ways. He's just a villain, and he was there to be villainous, and now he's going to be punished for his villainy. I don't know. Just something to think about. Maybe you know what? Maybe that'll be another... I've talked before about maybe the main character is going to eventually, you know, come to an understanding and start to trust people more, and people are going to start to trust him more at the same time. He's going to mature as a person. But at the same time, it could also be that, you know, he's just going to stick to the man, and that's going to be the entire story. This sort of idea opens up a third one, where he realizes that he is the one who has been ordained by God to absolve the sinners of their terrible, distorted desires by taking them away and putting them on the path of righteousness. That we're going to have the holy order of phantom thieves performing the miracle of heart stealing to redeem the sinners of the world. And that everybody should have their heart stolen because it makes them a better person. It makes them turn good. Now, is that going to happen? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's no way the story is going to go that direction. But it would be a hell of a third act twist. I don't know. I think it would be interesting. After all, it's like you have the ability to take away the sins from people. You basically become like a priest here. In, what is it? In persona Christi? Something like that. You take in the person of Christ. That's a real phrase. And it includes the word persona. Anyway, Ryuji. Hey, Ryuji, what's up? Total shock, couldn't move like I used to. So I think that this has been written in a way that it doesn't matter if Kamoshida has been beaten at this point in time or not, because he just says the other world, despite the fact that there is a very clear sort of example of how he was very much out of shape when he fell down during the crumbling of the whole palace and everything like that. It's definitely worth doing a little bit of this. It's just unfortunately you don't get any actual stats for doing the exercise here. Why don't you choose the exams that are going to be most agreeable, as usual, so that it takes less time to rank up stuff. I mean, whatever is going to have them trust you more. It's kind of funny, and I was thinking, you know, when I first started playing this, that I was going to completely cheese the system, look up all the best answers, and make sure I knew exactly what to say at all points in time so that I could blow through each one of the social links fastest. And it's a funny way to look at friendship or trying to get close to other people, where you're just going to say exactly what they want to hear, so then they become closer to you as soon as possible. Hey, but that's Persona for you. It's been like that since all the way back in Persona 3. Yeah, great. Real happy to hear that. I mean, it doesn't really matter. There's no tired status like there used to be back in Persona 3. That was an interesting little deal that they did, where they tried to prevent you from going in and going to the dungeon over and over by kind of giving you penalties if you were overexerting yourself in one way or another. If you went into the dungeon while being tired, you could become sick, and then all of your stats are lower than usual. If you get a good night's sleep, then you could get bonuses based on those stats. It was an interesting time back in Persona 3 when it was weren't quite sure exactly what they wanted to do with the series as it was. I mean, it was a huge departure from what the old Persona games used to be, but the whole... It's like they weren't entirely sure if they wanted to focus on the RPG part versus the visual novel part, all that sort of stuff. And I want to say that it became a lot more like visual novel-y, visual novel focused, and a lot less like random generation of dungeons focused, which I'm okay with. Those randomly generated dungeons were terrible. And, it was a kind of an experimental game, which made it good and bad. And it also felt like it had much less budget, too. It's neat to see how the series has come along into this. Even as much as it can still be frustrating to get set through, say, the early parts of the game. Boy, am I glad I mean, we might be out of Tutorial Town, but that doesn't mean they're still not popping up occasionally. The tendrils remain firmly grasped on myself. And of course, the scars of just remembering how long that took to get out of there remain. And this is the thing that he mentioned all the way back when he first got his persona. I mean, Kamoshida said something about, like, breaking his legs, but it doesn't sound like he actually did anything at that point. He just kind of took whatever Ryuji gave him and then used that as an excuse to shut down the track team. Not that it really matters. He was going to shut down the track team anyway. That's why I decided to go with the straight jab here. I don't know if that's the optimal way to do that, but hey, at least he knows that I've been paying attention. How does he do that? I guess maybe he got Mishima to look it up with his magic computer-looking skills. As he did with the main character. It's weird to think that was apparently Kamoshida's master plan. And the idea that people actually fell for it. And this comes up a little later too, but I feel like the blame here was a bit misplaced, considering that Kamoshida was going to be shutting down the team regardless. And that he was also very clearly goading you on to do that. I mean, for example, fighting words ain't protected under free speech. And I would like to say that that is a clear example of that. So you say, Ryuji. So you say. I love you, my dog, but as All-Star said, you ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. It's true. Build the future. It says that all in katakana for extra emphasis. Konnichiwa. And he does actually say brother there. As in, not like a, what is it? Die something? I don't even remember. But he says brother, like Baraza. It's pretty silly. Hooray, rank up. And get the baton touch, which I still have yet to really use, because hey, if your main character can hit an enemy's weakness, why would I want to switch to a different character? Just hit every enemy's weakness. I guess if you have a bunch of different enemies. Hasn't come up just yet though, and I'm on the hardest difficulty right now. Who knows what the future dungeons are going to bring. I'm still curious as to what's going to be happening with that, and how the Holy Order of the Phantom Thieves are going to be reacting to future troubles. I mean, this one was so highly personal that I want to see what has them turn their eye to stealing the hearts of other people. And it could be anything, really. You have infinite power. As I said before, you have the power of God to absolve sins with this phone application given to you. Even though this does take a pretty secular look at that. I mean, if you ignore the Velvet Room. There's supernatural stuff going on, but I have my doubts that this is going to go in any sort of religious direction, even though it could so easily. All they need to do is change rehabilitation to redemption. and instead of saying steal hearts, say save souls. It would be so easy to just flip that in there. Oh well. I guess we'll be seeing a little bit more from this from Anne when I eventually do her social link. Used to be that you didn't get a bunch of social links with going back to the whole Persona 3 thing. That you didn't really get social links with your party members because you hung out with them all the time anyway. Not so anymore. You definitely have social links with everybody you're going to be meeting. Ryuji, it's like, I didn't notice that back in middle school. It's like, you didn't... I still have my doubts about how much Ryuji... what Ryuji's feelings about Anne are here. Again, we'll wait some time to see what's going on. And as much as I would really like to see what's going on with Sakura, oh yeah, I love figuring out names. Names are the worst thing in Japanese because they don't follow the normal rules of how symbols work. So I am just lost a lot of the time when I'm trying to figure out how you're supposed to pronounce them or write them or whatever. I've said before, I'll say again, though, you want to get a whole bunch of different examples of language when you're trying to learn stuff here. And you want to expose yourself to everything possible. As painful as it is to try to figure it out. Okay, but yeah. Instead of talking to Sakura, let's take a little bit of a look around the back alleys here. There is a lot of stuff to do, I think. I don't actually know. As of right now, I just kind of found one thing that I wanted to do and did it. I'll have to look around a little bit more. But, hey, at least I got an idea of what's going on here. Yeah, we'd all like to go to Shibuya right now. Seems like it'd be fun. City that never sleeps. How many cities do you think in the world have that title? Las Vegas, I guess Shibuya now. New York, definitely heard that about that. I don't know. I'm sure I could probably pull out some more, but I don't know. Also, nice camera angle. Walk directly into that wall. And I do like how the main character does face away from people that are talking. So it's not super obvious he's eavesdropping. Not that the people notice him anyway. You would think that having the cat in the bag like that would be akin to letting it out of the bag. That's all I got. It's true. Nobody thinks of how hard kids have it sometimes, too. It's like, oh, all they gotta do is go to school. It's like, and figure out everything about what they're doing in the world. It's a hard time. Anyway. I haven't really listened to a whole lot of these extra NPCs. I gotta do that more. It's a lot like watching television. Gotta get as much lore as possible here. A shop that's open at this hour, you say? And it seems like the recycle shop here mostly just sells stuff that you can use to create the various thievery tools and everything like that, but that's not what I'm interested in here. No, I'm interested in the brown television. Brown style television? It's an old TV. Great, I can now go, I'll be the star of any Melee tournaments around here with that thing in tow. And much like ordering stuff off of television, buying old CRT TVs. CRT? I don't know. Getting DVD players and everything like that. There's a surprising focus on old technology in Persona games. In some ways it's charming, in other ways, why? I'm using my smartphone all the time. What am I still doing reading analog books and watching slightly less analog televisions? I mean, I guess. It's not like I couldn't afford that. I got plenty of cash money after the exploits that we've had going on here before. And I wanted to go into the batting area because there was that one guy talking about it there, but no, it wasn't letting me do it. Which is really too bad. And also you can't go drink either. Not that I thought that was going to be a thing. You can go into a club in Persona 3. This is the Persona 3 episode, apparently. The Persona 3 and religion episode. Yeah. Getting a real cosmopolitan group of topics to talk about here, aren't we? Okay, definitely want to buy everything from the vending machine possible. That's SP restoration, SP equals HP with the whole skills that you get there. And it tends to be the most difficult to come by sort of items in dungeons too. And even outside of dungeons, judging by how many you can buy in this vending machine here. Jeez. So it's worth a get. It's worth checking it out, certainly. And then also a bathhouse. Which, I mean, come on. You gotta check out the bathhouse. Up my charm, too, which, yes. Yes. I need that charm up. I need to get that floral shop job, man. Also, there was, of course, the coin-operated laundromat next to me, too, which I could use to clean off that the filthy, disgusting armor that I've been hauling around with me, but I'm not gonna do that. Because there's no dungeon open right now. Unlike the previous games, you don't get to go back into the dungeon after you finish one here. So, there's no real point in upgrading my equipment yet. I like that little motion the main character did there. So coquettish. Alright. Why does Morgama have to be like my mom? Morg Mama. And, since Ryuji is still available, the plan here is going to be essentially hang out with him again. In fact, it gives me a really good opportunity right now to do so. I guess. I mean, I agree with that. It's quite the miracle. Wink. Yeah, me too, but I cry about everything. I'm a big old baby in that way. I mean, maybe not the main character. He seems to be stoic as all hell, but he's also the main character and doesn't actually speak outside of a couple sentences like that. And that one scene really early on where Kamoshida picked up Anne. He said perverted teacher, and that was it. I was kind of thinking that we might be able to get a little bit more voice acting out of him, but not quite yet. Talk therapy. I get it. It's nice to see somebody who is willing to embrace that in such a wholehearted way. So yeah, I was wandering around to see if there might have been anything else I could do here. And there's like stuff to buy in the school and everything too, but then I decided, let's just do the dead Ryuji thing. Why not? And thankfully I didn't have to show the no rank up this time, because I did get another rank too. And also, yeah, slime, and hey, he's like, do you want to hang out with me? And I said yes. I'm gonna start like cutting that out in the future, because it keeps wanting you to be like, hey, do you want to check your social link progress and everything like that? It's like, no, I've made my decision. I want to talk to Ryuji. Yeah, that's one way to say that. Certainly. Training. Ooh. Yay, names again. Running as usual, huh? I'm sorry, I'll never do that again. We're gonna be busy exploring dungeons and everything like that. Really not gonna have time for it. And I guess it's not really stopped anybody else in the series before, but I don't think they ever made it to any real games. They were just there kind of training. It was more of like a club activity than being very serious about training for stuff. Yeah, Kamoshida. I mean, you know, he's not like a... He's not a force of nature, guys, right? He's just a man. And he was hell-bent on trying to shut down your team. Just because Ryuji happened to be the inciting incident, I mean... And for such a ridiculous reason, too. I think you can cut him some slack here. Of course, everybody at the school is all terrible. That's something that I've had criticism about before, where, despite the fact that we're allegedly saving these people from the tyranny that is Kamoshida, it's like, you don't really... Who do you hear that from? You don't really get the feeling that you don't really feel a lot of compassion to these people who seem to hate you like you're the scum of the, like you're a scum. Let's just say that. Okay, Ryuji has already said, please don't tell me to calm down. I hate that. So just endure it? It gave me 2 musical notes. I guess that worked. I don't know. Yeah, so why are you blaming Ryuji? There's one person here who's clearly to blame. Yeah, but he was gonna shut it down anyway. What are you guys, idiots? No, it's because Ryuji has to be persecuted here. Even though I think this is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's that whole idea that it's like the world's against you that I've talked about before. Part of the whole setting. Ah, whatever, dude. It's cool. We took care of it. Wink. And I don't know if we're going to be getting the track team back in any way, but hey, at least we're back on the road to having that happen again. You know, not going to give me any prompt to say something about that? I mean, I don't care if he was... whatever. Alright, thanks, Ryuji. Of the various characters here, you have been the most supportive, I'd like to say. And that was just thank you in English again. Ryuji and I are getting closer. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, as much as Ryuji has been annoying, he is still, seemingly the most trustworthy dude around here. Compared to Morgana, for example. Whom I still got a lot of questions about. Before, didn't even seem to understand like basic societal stuff, like, oh, things are bad outside of the school. It's like, how long has it been since you've been human? Anyway. Let's watch. I guess. Alright, and there's no way I'm gonna get a 3rd rank. There's 10 ranks, and sometimes they can go pretty fast, usually not. I'd like to say like the first couple... Oh, yes, Morgana does say, hey, you're still carrying around that armor? Maybe you should get it washed. Are you sure you really don't want to get it washed right now? The laundromat's right out there. Like, are you really sure you don't want to get it washed? Okay, there you go. Because I guess for some reason, I didn't get that same prompt in the English version. I don't know why. I don't know why. I think it might have been because I was wearing it at that time as a show of power. Because I can, even with the worst equipment, still beat that dungeon like that. Anyway, yeah, Morgana, what do you think of this?